This is APO Sports, and the unthinkable happened, the unimaginable happened. I certainly was not expecting an Indiana Fever win on game one of the WNBA semifinals, but here we are. They won, surprising all of us, even all of us in the Indiana Fever fandom. How did it happen? Well, defense, really. I mean, the intensity on defense was just, it was a masterclass, right? I mean, and so now we have to look at the aces, right? And as I was watching the game, I'm like, do they really have that many threats? I mean, they have a lot of good players like Wilson, Lloyd, Young, but I think that's about their firepower, right? Like that's their bread and butter. And typically they don't even need everyone else. They just need AJ Wilson. But if you contain Wilson, which the Fever have, it seems like plenty of bodies to throw at her for different types of covers. Although Aaliyah Boston was the one who kind of stood out on the defensive side of things, but Turner held her own, and Howard to an extent also can hold her own. So it's not going to be an easy series for Wilson. Turner, I thought, did an amazing job on Wilson on defense. And then, Lexi wrecking havoc on defense as well, as far as containing the guards. Young specifically. Uh, you know, Once you see the game going in action, I mean, it was kind of, I don't know. I mean, offensively, the Fever still have some things to figure out. But defensively, they were so effective and the energy was so great that, you know, and they were able to hit a bunch of shots on offense, which they typically don't. And what I mean they typically don't, it's like, how often can you really count on Sims being as good as she was yesterday? Kelsey, she can bring it every day. I mean, it's a rare day when Kelsey's off, which is excellent, and especially in this playoff, she has shown that she's bringing it, every day or every game. In the regular season, you were seeing a little bit of more off games, but she's been on, right? But I still think decision making on offense can be improved, and we're about to do the chessboard evaluation, so we're gonna kind of see what those possessions were as far as bad decision making. And every team, I emphasize a lot on this offense and bad decision making and not taking care of the basketball, and every team goes through that, right? But I just feel like the Fever do it a little bit more often than other teams, and unnecessary. Like sometimes you're forced into certain positions, but I think the Fever a lot of times, and I think I tweeted at the end of the first quarter, like they tend to beat themselves on offense, where the aces are not really doing anything in particular. You're just wasting possessions for no reason. But again, the defense held up. They hit crazy timely shots. Mitchell and Sims just kept coming at the aces in the third quarter and in the second half. So, I mean, it was a pretty comfortable win on game one when everyone had essentially the Fever losing and no one really gave them a chance. It was funny to see the ESPN broadcast before the game, and they did this cute thing where they're like, oh, let's all say it at the same time. They knew they were all saying aces, right? And no shot at all. And the whole entire segment was about how great the aces were, how great AJ Wilson was, just coming off her fourth MVP, and all the props and all the commentary and all the accolades were about the aces. And then here come the Fever, a depleted Fever team, and just steamrolls them on game one. So I was impressed. I was really impressed, mostly again with the defense, because I think that the offense, there are things that can be cleaned up. I just don't think this particular roster can clean that up, maybe in time, but they still seem to be good enough with what they have and the schemes that they run to potentially, I don't know, if they get by the aces, you can't put a ceiling on this team anymore, right? Like, they could win it all. So I just think they'd be so much more dangerous, even with the roster that they have, if they could clean up those things on offense. But again, beggars can't be choosers. I just highlight the things. I just evaluate. So my whole entire thing with chessboard basketball, I'm not saying what can be done better. I'm just evaluating possessions, and then I'm evaluating. I'm giving them a grade. Was it outstanding, great, good, marginal, bad, or horrendous? That's what I do, and then I give a reason because I have a rubric that I've created that I go off of. So it's not like my own personal bias saying, oh, it's just this is what it is, and that's it. So lately I've seen a lot of bad possessions. We'll see how many we get on this game. So all right, so we're just gonna quickly review the chessboard basketball analysis for the game. We can go over the box score, but there's nothing really that interesting in there other than we already know, right? Kelsey Mitchell had 34 points, and Odyssey Sims had 17 points, and then the rest, we kind of know what happened. But I kind of want to do a chessboard basketball analysis instead of going to the box score. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go player by player to analyze their specific stats or numbers according to chessboard basketball. And maybe you can give some feedback and let me know if that's how you feel like the game went, or do you feel like this analysis and this system, it just seems to be way off. So first we'll go with Aaliyah Boston. So here's her chart. So we're just going to be looking at different people's charts. So this is Aaliyah Boston's chart. And then I left everyone else because in some possessions, you have other players who are involved. And it shows you, like, if she had an assist, then who did she assist? And so here we go. So she was pretty much involved in 16 out of 77 Indiana Fever possessions. And by involved, as we continue to use the terminology moving forward, by involved is she either tried to create for others, or she, a possession ended by her trying to create for others, or the possession ended by her taking the shot herself, or a turnover, right? So I actually do believe that the usage rate, I guess, chart for chessboard basketball is so much better than the usage rate that you get from other advanced statistics, like Basketball Reference. And not knocking on them, it's just that the usage rate for Basketball Reference is only that the possession ended with them by either shooting or turning it over. But here is it adds the possession ending by them setting someone up as well, not just them shooting or them turning it over. And then you actually get, so this is like, if usage rate or percentage had it was color coded, then this is what it would look like. So this is what you have. So you have Boston, like I said, 16 out of 77. And then she was involved in 2 bad possessions. So those 2 bad possessions for her, for a queen, you don't get that many as a queen, were 2 turnovers. So one was a dead ball turnover, that's the -1. And then the second one was a live ball turnover, which actually led to an aces basket. So that is like heavily penalized. But as far as everything else, these marginal ones, she just missed a shot that she tried to create by herself. This is a 3-pointer that she missed that was set up by Kelsey Mitchell, and it comes up as a great possession just because of the involvement of your 2 queens, right? So when you have 2 queen level involvement, the system tends to reward that more because you're using your 2 best players playing for each other. So that is just going to be more valuable. So even in a missed shot, it's going to say, yeah, great, just continue to use your 2 best players to make something happen. And so this marginal is just a missed shot. Good one is that she missed the shot, but she was set up by Powers, right? So then it's good because this rewards ball movement. Those 6 marginal, it's like, okay, it was just you missed it, and so that's a marginal possession because it's you creating, you missed it. But when someone else is creating for you and there's ball movement, the system rewards that. So again, a lot of missed shots by herself that she tried to create, and then outstanding possession. This was an assist to Kelsey Mitchell, which is just going to be great. And then this outstanding was her assistant Kelsey Mitchell with a score of 27, which was the best score in the game. But overall, only 2 bad possessions It was good. I mean, she could do better. She could do better. She was utilized, I think, enough. There was one game where she was only utilized 12 out of 79 possessions. So 16, especially since she wasn't really hitting her shots. I think 16 possessions was good for Aaliyah Boston. So now let's look at Kelsey. So Kelsey Mitchell, this is a lot. This was 34, and it was needed, you know. I mean, 34 out of 77. That's almost half of the team's possessions that ended with Kelsey Mitchell. Either setting someone up or by herself. And the crazy thing about this is that 34 possessions, only 3 were bad possessions, which essentially were 3 turnovers. That was pretty much it. So this was a live ball turnover, that led to an aces basket, and another live ball turnover. So unfortunately, the turnovers that she did have were live ball turnovers. But again, for the amount of time that she had the ball in her hands and the possessions were ending with her, that is actually pretty good. Now the marginal, as we said before, this is a missed mid-range that, you know, what is it? Yep, missed mid-range shot. So the mid-range shot tends to be penalized a little bit more because she gets 9 just by shooting, but then you plus and minus depending on the result of the possession. So we had an outstanding here, just Howard assisting Kelsey Mitchell, and the 18s are just the threes. All the threes that she made are the 8, scored because you have a really great shooter who's a queen, who's one of your best players, who's also hitting the threes. So that tends to be rewarded a lot. So this is good. I mean, she had a lot of marginals because it's okay. You're going to miss shots, right? Or people who you're setting up are going to miss shots. But overall, she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 great possessions, and the team didn't even have that many total. So overall, this is really good. No complaints. And again, this is tons of value that she provided in a 34 possession involvement. So should it always be this way? I don't know, because in the playoffs she's been lights out, right? But she's not always. There's some days that she's not making her shots, but when she is, sure, you can have 34. And one of the best things was that so Kelsey Mitchell was essentially keeping the aces off balance because she's so fast. No one can keep up with her. On made baskets or even missed baskets, she would just sprint to the other side. No one could keep up with her, and she would score easy baskets like that. So really good job by Kelsey Mitchell, controlling the bad possessions, minimizing the marginal, and then just taking advantage overall. So this was good. Howard, so 12 out of 77. I think that's perfect, right? Because you want her involved, her cleaning up the glass, going on backcourt, cutting to the basket, making easy shots. That's what you don't want her creating too much. So when she tried to create over here, she had 2 turnovers, but only 2 bad possessions out of 12. That's a pretty good percentage. And even the marginal, so it's just bad and marginal. The rest were good, neutral, and neutral is good because that means you're going to the free throw line. But she made all her free throws. So even the neutral was actually positive for the Fever. She had an outstanding good. I mean, this was a really solid game, controlled game by Natasha Howard. And I think Stephanie White also does a good job, but limiting in a good way Natasha Howard so that she doesn't get too much out of control. Because sometimes she does tend to do that. But this is a really good result. I mean, these charts by Boston, Mitchell, and Howard, pretty good. Lexi, this is good too. 7 out of 77 ended with Lexi. And again, Lexi's she's not a volume shooter, and she's not someone who's gonna consistently set people up, right? She's a 3-and-D player, right? So she'll stand in the corner, on the sides. She can surprise you and get to the basket or hit the mid-range, but for the most part, she's just, hanging out, waiting for something to open up so that she can shoot the open shot. So all in all, she had no turnovers, right? So this was just a missed interior shot. This is a missed 3-point shot. This is a missed interior shot. So that's pretty much all it is. But this, she was hitting, she was setting someone up, she hit a free throw, and she made an interior shot. So for what Lexi provides, which is really the ton of energy and hustle and second chance opportunities and everything else, the offense is not what you worry about with Lexi, but what she provided was good enough. And then the timely basket, that basket at the fourth quarter that she made, a 3-pointer at the fourth quarter, was absolutely needed. And as you can see, you know, her involvement was really towards the end, second half. The first half, she only had one, she only, you know, really just one possession that ended with her taking a shot. But really, from the possession 53 onward, that's when she was a little bit more involved, and she tends to make really good decisions and put herself in positions to be successful. So now we look at Sims. Sims is it's a little like up and down, but so she has 3 bad possessions and 1 horrendous possession. The horrendous possession is essentially just a live ball turnover that ended up in a aces basket. And you might ask, well, for Boston and for Mitchell it was -6. Why for Sims is it -10? Well, the role again. You can live with your queen committing turnovers, right? I mean, they're gonna have the basketball in their hands, you know. So that's it. That's the role of your queen. Is you that you live with that. But at night, you know, them turning the ball over is penalized a lot heavily because they're not supposed to have that much control. Their role is much more limited. You can say, well, oh, it's a point guard role. They have the ball in their hands a little bit more. But still, if you're a point guard who's a knight, then even more reason for you to control the basketball. So if you're a knight as a point guard and you're turning the ball over, then you need to be replaced ASAP. And I'm not saying that Sims needs to be replaced. Sims is really not a point guard. It's just highlighting chessboard basketball differentiates between who you say your best players are, and then knowing that when they commit turnovers, it's like, okay, well, that's my queen. That's who I'm living and dying with, versus a knight who is supposed to be a role player and turning the ball over. So there's a difference between your star committing turnovers and your role player committing turnovers. So it's heavily penalized. And a pawn, so if Turner turns the ball over and results in points, it's -18. So I mean, because the pawn is really not supposed to be turning the ball over at all. But anyways, for her, she had a really good game. Like, she had a really good game. She has 17 out of 77 possessions, which was 1 more than Boston. As a knight, you know, so you have more, you know, the possessions ended, more possessions ended with a knight than with a queen. Is that issues, but again, it comes down to the role and her creating. She had a really good game, no complaints at all, but she does tend to make not the best decisions with the basketball. Another observation is that when she gets to the paint, it doesn't matter what is happening, who's guarding her, she tends to shoot it. Instead of just looking for better opportunities, she looks to score a lot. And it helped in this game in particular, but there are games where it hurts, and there are moments that it hurts more than it helps. So, but overall, out of 17 possessions, 4 were pretty much bad, but otherwise she had a really good game. So not a lot of complaints, just observations in evaluating possessions. Petty was amazing. Look at this. Petty was, I mean, flawless really on the possession thing. Too great and too good. Out of 4 possessions that she had, this is what you want a role player to do. This is what you want a knight type of player to do. Come in, take care of the basketball, take good shots, you know, make good shots if you can. And that's it. That's, I mean, Petty was as flawless as it gets. Powers, well, Powers struggled, right? So 4 possessions, 2 bad, 1 marginal, 1 good one. It's so mostly for her, it's the, again, shot selection, decision making is just bad. So here, it's just a 3-point shot that she took, with 11 seconds left in the shot clock, with better people open, she just, a lot of times when she gets the ball, she looks to score. She gives up trying to find a play for someone else. She's quick to say, well, there's no better play right now. I have to score. Which a lot of the time it's not true, and it's just not the case. So that 3-point shot was a bad decision, and then this was a dead ball turnover. This was not an assist to Boston, because I still count and give credit for setting someone up, but she set up Boston for a look and Boston missed it. But still, she gets credit for that. And then this one was just a missed 3-point shot, right? So Powers didn't do as good, and then Turner was good. So she just had one missed, because she's a pawn. She doesn't get that many points, but then the rest was really good. So Turner had a really good game as well. She was active. She was around the paint. She was trying to get open. Teammates were able to easily find her. She consistently does make good decisions with the basketball. Like, she doesn't try to do too much, which is what I think Sims and Powers tend to do, and even Howard sometimes tend to do a little bit too much. But Turner understands, and Lexi understand, their role, number one, and two, their limitations. But and it's not a lack of confidence. They just understand, like, hey, I can't risk this right now. This possession is too valuable for me to try to do much with it. But for Sims and Powers, it's just a different mindset. Not bad necessarily, just different. They have too much confidence in their game. They're like, yeah, I mean, right now the best thing for us to do is for me to shoot. And maybe that can be cleaned up with coaching, but it's good nonetheless. So, but that is essentially the analysis for the chessboard basketball and the post game reaction for this. I did do the beginning of this video before I did the chessboard basketball evaluation, so I thought the offense was going to be a little bit worse, but the offense was actually really good. The offense, I mean, is the best it's been since the playoffs started. They took care of the basketball. They didn't have that many bad possessions. It was actually a solid effort by the entire team. So yeah, no, I'm good. Chessboard basketball for this game looks pretty good. We'll see what happens in the next game. Again, if they win game 2, then there's there's gonna be some interesting conversations for the Aces anyways. But we'll see what happens game 2. I hope to be able to bring this a little bit earlier. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.